For instance, for the torrenting system that can be taken down, you can send 1,000 bytes of data in, with a separate arbitrary message, it's called. It's possible to just transmit it openly to the whole network, unencrypted. So it's also possible to put in links. So this would be a very simple method to have a non-server bound link collection for instance, torrenting. But you can also do it with other kinds of transactions. It's possible to send on the blockchain messages to applications over the blockchain, which will be recorded and can be checked by all these applications, and they will be in the system for as long as they need to be. One thing that I didn't put in here, because it's being developed, it's one of the most difficult things that Ethereum is also struggling with, is pruning. It is possible to prune blockchains, to take things. We put things in, but if you look at the Bitcoin blockchains, or if you have tried to download the complete blockchain, turn on your computer and wait a very long time. And this is a problem that all blockchain technology will have a problem with in the end, that the blockchain becomes so huge, you can't use the blockchain itself anymore for normal users. That's why we have these light clients. Next has been built to support blockchain pruning, but just as Ethereum, we haven't quite figured out how to prune. It is a difficult one because what you take out is also irretrievably lost. This is a tough nut to crack, but in combination with data transmission, I did want to mention it. Alias system is a system that allows you to remap certain strings to other strings. At this moment, it is meant, a lot of people use it to name their accounts. So you have a number in a numbered account, and you combine a name to it, so you can just use human readable names. But it's actually meant and possibly to use to make it into a decentralized DNS system. Namecoin is also doing this. It is possible not to have your DNS, your domains in servers, but on the blockchain. So you could create, in principle, if people build on it, you could use alias system to build a completely decentral internet. That's the idea. A lot of people have been working on that, but this is also one of the things you can do with alias system. The other one is the biggest at this moment, is the asset exchange. It's something that Counterparty does, Mastercoin does, and we do it a lot. The asset exchange is colored coins. It means that you can create tokens on Next in any volume that you want, and you can trade them freely. Most people use it at this moment to trade things they call stocks. Not really a good idea if you do real stocks, because you have this SEC after you. But it is a very good way to crowdfund, for instance, to generate initial funding for businesses. Also, tokens of membership can be created. There are many different things. Loyalty tokens is one of the implementations we're looking at. Again, completely decentralized, and it can be combined with all these other things, like I said, with the voting system. So if you have owners of a company who need to vote, or who you want to vote, you can combine these different kinds of things. And you can also weigh it, so if someone has more assets, more ownership within a company, he gets more voting power. Another part, last one on the list, is a marketplace. We have a built-in sales system. It is, a lot of people have been talking about Silk Road 2, all these things that got taken down, people arrested. Marketplace is not the answer to it, but it has the same possibility. It is a possibility to put sales on the blockchain and sell them to any party out there. And it's an escrowed system. You put up a sell order, someone else with another Next account puts in a buy order, and then the salesperson has to confirm that. Until that time, the money is in escrow, and then the sale is done. It was originally called the Digital Goods Store. and it's mainly used at this moment for instance, people who are selling domain names, music, links, real digital goods, but it's of course also possible to sell physical goods with it, with the problem that you cannot enforce the fact that people even send these physical goods. So what's also going to be combined with this is a rating system, an online, an on-blockchain rating system for sellers. Another part that is for people who are used to proof of work, not that intuitive, is account leasing. One of the things that's different in proof of stake is you don't get new coins. You need to have a stake already in the system, so you need to have Next in your account and you have to have your wallet open. That will allow you to create blocks, and within a proof of stake system you get the transaction fees in the blocks. So if there are 1,000 transaction fees, you will get this. If you have 1 billion coins and you only have 1,000 next to your account and somebody else has 2 million, then the chances of you forging a block are really, really, really low. A lot of people but people need to be incentivized to keep their wallets open, or at least to have the weight of the coins involved in the system to secure it. Account leasing is a method to do this. You can lend the power of your coins to another account, so you can pool the power, the forging power, without ever leaving the coins leaving your wallet. So the forging people will still forge and secure the network without needing to have the very little stake active, because nobody wants. Most people don't want to have the computer running all day. A lot of people just don't do that. So this is a method to pool that power. Very shortly, this is what we are planning to do. It's very small, so I'm going very quickly past this because it turns out to be unreadable. Everything that I've just said is enclosed in the client that we have. So we have all screens are in one point. People can access this with a third-party browser, which can be downloaded, or they can do it in their own browser. This is a bit more interesting because this is what Next is actually trying to do. Next doesn't want to be in the forefront. You don't need to have Next everywhere. The idea is that it powers other applications, that people use it in the background, like Intel with their Intel inside. If you have a computer with an Intel chip in it, at least a few years ago you had a good computer. Next tries to do the same thing. It is supposed to be a blockchain that powers other applications. So one of the things that people are developing is CryptoMail. This is encrypted mail on the blockchain. We have a this has just come out, smart contract site, which uses the Next blockchain to store the smart contracts. So it is possible to code them yourself. It can be used with any coin, so it doesn't need to have Next coins. You can use it with Bitcoin. But the contract itself will be stored on Next. That's a way the blockchain, our blockchain, can be used. This Next free market is basically a standalone application of that market system that I said. People can put up their own products, eBay-like format, on the free market. Everybody on the Next blockchain can see it and buy it. But nobody can take it down. It's on that system and it's yours to do with what you wish. No fees, free. Images of Next free market. Yes, you can put images with it, but the images won't be stored on the blockchain. It's if you use the normal version in the Next client, you won't see any pictures at all. That's the basic functionality. What free market adds is the possibility to add the link, and it will translate it into a picture. Yeah, definitely. If people want to look at it, they can go to these links. These are 4 of the most developed parts. Another part that I do want to, some people may have not heard of it. There's this kind of a bit of a battle. If you look on Bitcoin Talk, it's about combining of blockchains and different things, blocknet. There's one that uses NXT, which is called the SuperNet, or SuperNet, is a combination of different cryptocurrencies, not to merge, but to use the strength of the different cryptocurrencies. In this case, Next is used as a kind of baseline, and other currencies with anonymity or with ATM capabilities are linked to it by JSON objects, and they communicate together. SuperNet is interesting to check out, to see. We have another speaker here that comes in, Joachim, Internet of Coins, did a speech last time. He's working on the same kind of thing. It's the idea that cryptocurrency, we have 500 different cryptocurrencies, and you see all these battles all the time. It's also possible to try at least to see where you can pull in the strengths and see where you can combine. Because otherwise most of them probably will just die. A few use cases. Like I said, crowdfunding is a very popular one. Anonymous messaging, loyalty tokens. The bridging of blockchains is the SuperNet thing, but what also people have done when people are trying to get a good, I won't say fair, a good distribution when they start a new blockchain. It's always a big problem, who gets the first. It's also that the same discussion about you have the people with the net gain and the net losers. That's usually what goes wrong in an IPO of a new coin. It can be done via the Next Asset Exchange in an automated way that people issue the tokens, people can in a very cheap or even free way get them and then send them to an account that automatically will send out coins. Some people have done it. And games. This is one of my projects I'm developing together, not on my own, but with a few others, an MMO, which uses blockchain technology. So it is in the World of Warcraft, but it is a way of storing game data on the blockchain to make it possible for people to run their own game service, not proprietary. People could even fork it if they would take the time for it. It is interesting to see what is possible with in-game currencies, so money that you have in the game system, to exchange it to real currencies and, well, not back, because that would destroy the game. People would put in $1,000 and win everything. But it is an interesting idea that we are trying to see how an in-game economy could link to an external economy. That's upcoming. If you want to know more, you can contact me. Most of the time I'm here anyway, so you can always talk to me or Dave, who is sitting behind the camera there. The main thing what I would like you to take from this talk is that one of the things to know about Next is we're not corporately run. It's completely voluntarily run, which is one of the problems in our budgetary way. So we have a very small non-paid group. We don't advertise that much. If we put up an advertisement on Coin Market Cap and we need to run it, our coffers will be empty very, very quickly. So I'm always happy and thankful to Bas that I'm allowed at least to speak here and to talk about all these things that we hear about, and we say, okay, we can already do this. Please come talk to us and see if we can make them happen. Because counterparty, Ethereum, Mastercoin are certainly not the only ways to do things. Thank you.
Are there any questions?
Yeah, I have a small question. So you talked about account leasing. Isn't that a bit dangerous? Because then a player can come, a malicious player, he can lease all the accounts and then basically forge a malicious transaction, right?
Yeah, that would happen if he had a very large stake. Then he would need 51% and the algorithm even works this way that it goes higher than 51%. But you would need to be able to get more than 500 million next into play. That is
to buy all the leases.
well, if you would need to collude with a lot of people. It's at this point, next distribution is such that we have the top 100 holds, I think 65%. So if you would need to, for collusion, you would at least 60, 70 people you would need to get in on the deal. That's quite a lot. It's not enough. It needs to be more. So distribution is an ongoing problem with all these systems. But yes, that is always a danger with any kind of pooling. It's what we see in Bitcoin too. The pooling system is an inherently dangerous thing. People need to be aware that these 51% attacks are possible, or even less if you have less active players. Oh, this is one extra thing I nearly forgot to say because it is an important one. Bitcoin has been very well researched. Proof of work. There's a lot. One of the things that has been told about proof of stake, you see this from Bitcoin core developers too, is proof of stake not been researched, probably bogus, and you just don't know what's going to happen. We have a few PhDs working on it, so it is being researched at the moment, and also if things crop up, they will be publicized. So it's open, and these are known PhDs. It's not anonymous. This is one of the things we are trying to get out of our developers team, at least. If people are interested in the scientific basis of proof of stake, I can at least get you into contact with the people who know about it, and who also can talk about it in a much more factual way, because it's easy to say yes it works if you have no proof, but it's very important for all these new consensus algorithms that they don't actually break down when they scale, or that people lose their money on it. Very important. Just wanted to say that.
Any more questions? Okay, then please a big applause for all.